Hello, everybody. I want to talk about freedom and happiness, and probably the biggest reason why I wanted to do this Sojourner video vlog on YouTube. I have wanted to, for years now, just become a vagabond. I have lived in a van for many years. And I've loved it. Have I been comfortable? No. But when you have the comforts of the 21st century, of a fixed home with that is fully equipped, you really don't have that much freedom. When you have to go to work for 40 plus hours a week, it's restrictive. And the more bills you have, the less restrictive you are. I feel that for the most part, living in the 21st century, even with being in the United States of America, that stands up for freedom, you are stuck in keeping up with the Joneses. And I don't like that lifestyle at all. I live my own life the way that I want to. I do try to be the best Christian I can be. That's my number one focus, even though it does get out of focus at times. I believe that we were created to, excuse me, look at what God has created for us. When I look at a beautiful sunrise, or I look at a mountain scenery or a mountain peak scenery, when I look at the world and a video or a picture from outer space, I look at that and those things and I think, wow, God, you loved me that much that you created all that for me? And that makes me fall in love with God even more. I've had this dream for several years now, and I think it began actually when I was a kid. I felt as if I was called to move down south for some reason, but I think that the calling was ultimately to be a vagabond, to be a nomad. In the Bible, Jesus told his disciples to go into all the world and preach the gospel, to be a vagabond, to be a sojourner, to travel and tell people about him and his ways. Several years ago, I would probably have to say pretty close to a decade ago, I started watching a YouTube series that it was of a guy that traveled. I think at the time I became a subscriber to him, he was living in a van. And the YouTube channel was, oh shoot, I can't even think of it right now. But anyway, his name was Eric, and he traveled with his cat called Jax. Nomadic fanatic. And although I didn't like a couple of small things about him, I loved almost everything that he portrayed in his videos. And I just fell in love with his lifestyle. Even though I don't know if he's a Christian or not, it really doesn't matter. It's the lifestyle of being a nomad, or a vagabond, or a sojourner. I consider myself a sojourner, and I just think that we weren't made to be in civilization. The Bible speaks of being in the world, but not of the world. I think one of the things that has held me back my whole life was the fact that I felt stuck in Toledo, Ohio, for all the decades that I lived there, and then the almost decade that I've lived here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. One of the biggest things, one of the greatest things I ever did was leave Toledo and move down here. It set me free in so many ways. My mind was unshackled in so many ways. Being a nomad or a sojourner or a vagabond, you if you don't like your neighbors, you just get up and go. With my van, if I didn't like the guy that was near me, I just get behind the wheel. I didn't have to pack. And if I don't like my neighbors, I don't have to pack. I just go, get up and go. Move to a different location. And I planned on doing it last year, but I developed some infections in my leg where I had cellulitis, staph, and MRSA all at the same time. And I was hospitalized for a week. And I dealt with this thing. I'm still dealing with it. I'm at the tail end of it now, but for about a year and a half. Excuse me, I'm just getting a phone call that I'm wanting to. I can get back to that in a minute. But where was I? Yes, my leg. Now I think practically all of the infection is gone. We all carry, I believe, those infections. I heard with MRSA, we all have MRSA in our system. But for the most part, almost all of the infection's gone from my leg. Now it's pretty much just a matter of the hole sealing up. I developed it when I took off my compression socks. I have edema where my lower legs swell up with fluids, and my compression socks push the fluids back up. And I haven't been able to wear my compression socks on that leg, so it essentially comes down to, my nurse told me that the reason why it's not healing, she told me this a couple of weeks ago, is because the swollenness won't go down. Well, I recently purchased a used rundown hospital bed, and I've been able to lift it up for a long time now, and high enough to where the fluids are starting to come back down and the healing is progressively getting better. Every time I go back for a bandage change and cleaning and see the doctor, then my leg looks so much better. So this year, 2019, I'm picking my goal back up. And by the end of the year, hopefully by the end of summer, I will be living strictly as a nomad, living on the streets, or living on the road, or just living in the world. That's basically what it is. I'm no longer tied down to paying rent for a house and paying for utilities to the gas company or PWC, Public Works, whatever it is here in North Carolina, Fayetteville. I'm no longer bound by all that stuff. Am I comfortable? No. Am I ever going to be comfortable in this world? No. Absolutely not. But if I have to choose between comfort and freedom, at least almost every time, I'm going to choose freedom. We are set free in Christ anyway, in so many ways. And we are free in so many ways as American citizens. Will we ever have complete freedom? No. Am I happy living paycheck to paycheck, paying rent to a house that I don't own, or property that man says that I own, but in reality, I just rent from the government that stole it from someone else? We don't own this earth. I'm sorry. You cannot own a plot of land in reality. This land is owned by Jesus Christ. It might be ruled in a lot of ways by Satan or man or whatever, but it cannot be owned by anyone but God. So I'm planning on living the rest of my life in an RV that I purchased that is somewhere around 75% finished. And I'm asking you for your prayers and your support, even if it's just a matter of subscribing to this channel. To be able to be on the road and living my dream. And I'd rather have that dream than the great American dream, which has pretty much become a pipe dream. Is it possible? Yes. Nomads live that lifestyle. They're happy all over this world. But I do ask you for your support and prayers. If all you can do is pray and subscribe to this channel, press like and comment. Those things are free. To subscribe is free. To press like is free. To leave a comment is for free. I don't care what your comment it is. If your comment is to say, good job, kudos, I pat you on the back, Jamie. But I'm going to do my best to be a sojourner for Christ. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for your support in whatever way that you do. Looking forward to speaking to you again.